When we talk about choosing the breed of animal, choosing the type of animal, I'm constantly amazed at people who get fixated on color. You know, black, red, white, blue, purple, whatever. It's all about color or hair, or you've got the belted Galloway, the Oreo cookies. You've got the Scottish Highlander, with the wonderful locks down over the photogenic, all this stuff. We have one criteria mainly for choosing the kind of animal we want, and that is phenotype. What is the phenotype of that animal? And the reason for that is because that's the bottom line. The fact is, all these different colors, when you pull the hide off, the meat's all the same color. You can't tell the difference between a black one and a red one and a white one and a blue one. Okay, so when we look at phenotypes, there's a couple metaphors that are constantly used. Johann Zeitzman, the Zimbabwean South African guru, says what you want is an animal that looks like 8 pounds of sugar in a 5-pound bag. In other words, you want an animal that throughout its life, almost regardless of treatment, doesn't look like a bag of bones. And so if you go visit a few herds of cattle, you will see very quickly there are animals that look like a bag of bones, and there are animals that look like 8 pounds of sugar in a 5-pound bag, nice and they just look really filled out and beefy. My neighbor for a long time, who's passed away now, he always told me that I don't care whether you've got 2 cows or 100 cows, when somebody comes and visits, you've got you've got one that you hope steps up to the front, where everybody can see it. Oh, look at that pretty one. And you've got one that you hope stays back behind the brush and nobody ever sees, And so the fact is that in any given herd, no matter what color they are, no matter what breed they are, in any given herd, you will have phenotypes that are conducive to a grass-finished beef, and you'll have phenotypes that aren't. Another metaphor that's constantly used is what you want is a barrel on toothpicks, okay? You don't want big, great big animals. One of the reasons that animals have gotten tall, leggy, and great big in recent years is because the processing companies, the fabricators, are looking for efficiency in cutting. Okay, so if you're going to cut, T-bone steaks, and you set up your saw to cut T-bone steaks, and you can get an extra 1 or 2 off of a bigger carcass, that's more efficient in manufacturing or in fabrication. The problem is that is exactly opposite. The size finally gets to a point where it's exactly opposite what you want in grass finishing, because the carrying capacity, the sheer amount of energy it takes to fill up that great big bag of bones that's oversized is just too much. I mean, I've seen cows that weigh over 2,000 pounds. That is a heavy keeper cow. All right, we want cows that that look more like 1,100, maybe 1,000 pounds, even 950. It's okay. What you want, it's not about size, it's about cutout percentage. It's about meat to bone ratio. How much saleable product do we have for this live animal? If you have a live animal that weighs 1,000 pounds and it cuts out 60%, that's a big difference to one that cuts out 52%. Let's think about it a minute. You've got a 1,000-pound animal here. Let's to start here, okay? 1,000 pounds, that's live, okay? At 60%, that means it's going to cut out 600 pounds at 60%. At, let's say, 52%, it's going to cut out 520 pounds, okay? So this is an 80-pound difference, all right? That's the difference of 80 pounds in the carcass. Let's just assume that at least 75% of that is saleable, okay? So that's going to be 60 pounds of saleable product, and let's assume that it's worth $8 a pound, that's $480 difference in value from that carcass based on its cutout percentage. That's why phenotype is so important. That's why you want 8 pounds of sugar in a 5-pound bag, because a big old leggy, bony, steam engine looking animal is not going to yield. This is called yield or cutout percentage, saleable percentage. It didn't take, these are both 1,000 pound animals. It's just how the animal's put together. All right, it's the phenotype of that animal, and it didn't take any more blades of grass to make this 1,000 pounds on this 600 pound carcass than it did on this 520 pound carcass. It didn't take any more feed to make that. It's just where it went. Did it go to tendons and legs and sinew and hide and gut, or did it go to actual saleable meat product? This is why phenotype is so important. It's not about size. It's about cutout percentage. It's about yield. So we're looking at meat to bone ratio, and we're looking for an animal that's slick. It looks like it's been oiled and greased. Those slick animals are the ones that we want, the ones that kind of carry on hair and their winter coat long time, or that look a little bit scruffy, a little bit scruffy looking. Those are not going to yield the kind of percentage that we're looking at here. So this is the critical element. There's a big difference in the sexes, of course. In a female, you generally want smaller shoulders and a big butt, nice big rear end to have a calf. I could go into humans here, but I won't. I'll stay away from that. And on the male, you want big shoulders and a small butt. Okay. You want your females to look feminine. You want your females to look like girls. You don't want a masculine looking heifer. You want a feminine looking heifer. And same thing with the bull. You don't want an effeminate looking bull. You want a bull that's got big strong shoulders, and he tapers off in the rear, and he's got that masculine big wide head and that big wide look. As you market this, you want your distinctiveness to be on the eating end. The looking end, okay, that's fine, but what's going to ultimately make your business is the eating end and the dress out percentage end. That's why phenotype is so important. So choose on phenotype, look at that animal, think about those phenotype, and when you go to slaughter, if you can get a live weight to a hanging carcass weight, and you can start comparing those, you'll start seeing, well, this cow, gave me 55%. This one gave me 58. This bull, then you can start selecting for the phenotype that gives you the higher percentage dress out. That's where we're headed, and that's where we need to make our breed, our genetic selections.